Hey guys, so I just released my second album. It's called Time Well Spent, and I spent a lot of time working on this and making this as good as it can be. In fact, I actually spent around 3 years writing the songs, refining the songs, whittling down everything, conceptualizing everything, and the world suddenly changed in the middle of it all, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I had to reconcile with the fact that I would just have to release this online. I was in denial for like a year, but then yeah, you just gotta move on, you know?
Anyway,
I am so proud of this album, and I hope that you have been streaming it. It's available everywhere, I believe. I hope that YouTube Music has it already, because some people said that to me earlier na wala pa siya sa YouTube Music. So catch up tayo, YouTube, let's go! I hope that you've been loving it. Tell me your favorite songs in the comments down below. But I just wanted to hop on YouTube to explain a lot of the processes that I went through with this album, since this is largely like a project of the quarantine. With every project of mine, I always put my 100% self in it. I'm always making some type of merchandise, or I'm co-directing a music video, or making up the storyboards. That's one of my most favorite things about the creative process, and that's definitely something that I celebrated in Time Well Spent. The thing that makes Time Well Spent unique is we spent a lot more time than usual creating the merch and developing the merchandise line. I just got so excited. Number one, I love shopping. #mallrats is shaking. Number two, I love consuming merch by other people, especially artists that I really love. Number three, I think merchandise is one of the greatest ways to make your music kind of take on a tangible form. That's also one of the reasons why I have... Wait, let me get the Time Well Spent album in cassette USB form. For those who are wondering, this is not a real cassette tape that you have to play on a Walkman. It's actually a USB, so you can play this on your computer. Guys, if you've noticed my beautiful album cover, I love it so much. Designed by Pauchi, one of my favorite designers. I've been working with her since Arigato Internet. And shot by Shaira Luna, one of the most awesome photographers here in the Philippines. You would notice that I was wearing something special on my head, and that is this scarf right here, conveniently placed right behind me. And I just want to tell you all about this beautiful thing, because we already launched it on our web shop, but I haven't really explained it to the peoples yet. I just want to explain everything today and take you behind the merch. So I created this scarf. I designed this scarf from start to finish on my iPad, and I spent 2 to 3 weeks finalizing everything. It is hard to design a scarf. There's like 30 inches of... wait, surface area? 30...
Stop making up shit.
It's not an easy task. For those of you who don't have a lot of time on YouTube, or who don't have a lot of patience to get through this whole video, I know I'm not the most interesting person to listen to on YouTube. I'm gonna do you guys a favor through this lightning round. I'm gonna try to explain everything, condense everything, all the information that you need, so that you can be informed right now and you don't have to watch through the entire video. But I suggest that you do, because I'm gonna get personal. I'm gonna tell you some secrets. So, lightning round.
This is a 30 by 30 inch scarf. It's printed on off-white silk charmeuse. Ooh, fancy terms. It has a very glossy, super classy sheen when it hits the light. Top stitching on all sides. And it features a beautiful green border that I like to call sage, but I'm not really sure if it's sage. And a bright orange thinner inner border. It comes with an optional wall hook hangings with clips. Hang it on your wall as a tapestry or as a good reminder of time well spent.
So, you guys might be wondering, why a scarf in the first place, right? Why not a... I actually can't think of any alternative.
anyway,
I think scarves are very multifunctional and very versatile. If you type on YouTube different ways to wear a scarf, you're gonna find so many ways to style it. I love that it's such a simple object. It's technically just a square, but it's very malleable in its meaning. One day it's a bandana to keep your hair tidy. Another day it's your shawl to keep you warm when you're cold. It could be like your picnic blanket when you finally met up with your friend that you haven't seen in such a long time and you're sharing a small meal together. A scarf for me also can represent like a flag, a banner, something to hold and be proud of. Countries have flags to symbolize and represent their ideals and their vision. I think the scarf for me is that as well. This is a visual representation of where I grew up, where I came from, who are the people that played a role in making me who I am. The little things that surrounded my childhood that gave me good memories. You can put your own meaning into a simple piece of fabric and make it work like how you need it to work for you in that moment. The scarf is a map of my history. My process of designing this scarf was a lot harder than I imagined. I was designing this early February, and at that time I had no branding or visual identity whatsoever for Time Well Spent. I wanted green to be like a dominant color, but other than that, I didn't have the fonts, the visual language to follow. I went into it very blindly. I went online, kind of studied how people designed their scarves. You could go two ways: a full-on big design, punchy, no symmetry, or you can do like the more organized, more balanced, symmetrical route, like what I went for. And then after gathering inspiration, the very next step was for me to draw a rough sketch. This is my rough sketch. As you guys can see, it's not very refined. I went through a whole process of like finalizing this layout. The original idea was have really big text in the border. First, I wanted like 4 circles and have different stages of me in those circles. I also thought of adding celestial elements like moons and planets, but I figured that it's not the messaging of Time Well Spent. I also tried different colored borders. I also tried having this inner square a darker color. I was trying to work on like a tan brown thing, which wasn't working at all. Now let's get on to the details, the little things that make up this scarf and how it relates to me as a person. I think the most prominent feature of this scarf is the center, which is a poppy flower. This is a flower of remembrance, of memory. It has ties with the war. I just thought that it was the perfect flower to symbolize my past. Because essentially this is an homage to every single person and thing that made up who I am. And then the text around the poppies say, "Let me just tend to my growing garden," which is a lyric of the very last song on my album called Growing My Garden. And I love that because it signifies rest, declaring that, hey, teka lang, I'm gonna take my time, watch out world, but for now I'm gonna chill. So I put monarch butterflies there because I've always loved how they looked. And butterflies in general just make flowers beautiful. Butterflies are essential to growth. The ultimate personal things in this scarf is the addition of my childhood photographs, which I have re-rendered by hand. Me and my dad singing in front of my family, which is such an instrumental part of why I do music in the first place. And for context, my dad passed away when I was 9. The legacy of music was what he gave me. And this is my mom supporting me while I was trying out roller skates. I chose this picture because it shows my mom at her best when she's supporting her children. Up above is me and my sister with like flowers on our hair. When we were younger, we had this typical sister relationship where we would fight all the time. I used to think that that's how sisters were wired to be. But through the years, we've gotten so close. She's one of my best friends. And I'm just happy to represent the start of our relationship here in this scarf. I also have handwritten snippets of my diary entries. This goes back to 2018 and 2019. I had to revisit my diaries to be able to extract these snippets that would reflect my self-doubt that was slowly forming into resolve and assurance. More Easter eggs, fountain pens, because I really got into fountain pens when I was in high school, and then I rekindled my love for it last year in the pandemic. The pen is representative of me holding on to so many things and writing so many songs, poems, and thoughts down over the years. You would see here that I have a postage stamp, and it's Walt Disney in Japan. Disney has given me that lens in which I view my life. And then I have a postage stamp here. It says Manila, where I was born, and then my birthday, and then Philippines. Then I have a locket that echoes the locket that I kept when I was younger. When you opened it, it played music. There's Scrabble tiles over here to represent my love for words. When I was in grade school, I won 1 Scrabble medal in intrams because I did not have a sport. My only sport was Scrabble, Queen's Gambit, Who, and it spells out bird because it's part of the title of one of the songs that didn't make it to Time Well Spent. There's also a lock of hair to represent Rapunzel. The very first book that I was able to fake read. I already memorized the words because my mom would tell me the story of it over and over at night. Even before I knew how to read, I already fell in love with the idea of storytelling. I put a pocket watch there to symbolize time well spent, of course. I also have a pocket watch that I inherited from my mom. Actually, I stole it and I used it in my time well spent album cover photo shoot. Let me know if you spot it. There's also santan flowers. This was the flower that used to grow in front of our house. We would make flower garlands and we would sip the nectar. Jackstone. When I was a kid, I liked playing jackstones on my own. I would score myself and I would make up jackstone ball tricks. My sister was then too young to play with me. She was 3 years old. One time I was playing and she got so pissed that I wasn't including her that she took my jackstones, ran to the bathroom and threw my jackstones in the toilet bowl. I was screaming. I was so mad at her. My dad came to the rescue, went to the bathroom, and scooped up my jackstones with his bare hands from the toilet. Grabe, pinagalitan niya kaming dalawa nun. There's one particular Easter egg that I hold very dear to my heart. If you get the scarf and you see it and you DM me or tweet me about it, I'll email you and tell you what it is and what it means. Here are the last 2 Easter eggs that I will share with you. These might be my favorite. Number 1 is a self-portrait of me when I was young. I really liked drawing when I was a kid. I really thought that I was good. I would draw Sailor Moon every day. On the top left corner, you would see a self-portrait of me that I drew in front of my encyclopedia. I scanned it and put it on there. Those are the strokes that I did as a kid. And lastly, my most favorite one is the label. Instead of putting Reese Lansangan, my name, my artist name, I put the Reese to signify that this is my scarf, this is my design. As a kid, I had a very strong sense of ownership, so I would label everything. This is a direct scan of my handwriting, and I put it here as my label. There are so many ways to wear this scarf and transform this scarf according to your need, and I'll show you a video next time trying different things out. To close this, I just want to address the price point very quickly. This is not cheap to produce at all. The material is very luxurious and there will be no reprints. We only produced a number of scarves. I feel like if I overproduce this, I would lose a bit of its magic. So I want people who really understand and who identify with the stories of time well spent to have this and keep this and be reminded of their own personal journeys and all the things that make up their colorful existence. After all our stocks are finished, we won't be reprinting or reproducing this anymore. So if you are interested in it, I would highly suggest that you get it when you're able or if you're able. Also, I know that it is rather a steep price point, but I tried to make my merchandise line available for a wide range of people so that more people can experience the physical objects that make up time well spent. If you feel like a scarf like this is out of your budget, that's perfectly fine, but I wanted to explain the rationale behind it anyway. Just making this means so much to me. It's the idea of having something so personal be an actual object that other people can have and other people can feel safe with as well. For me, scarves are like immediate protection. If you're feeling cold, wrap it around yourself as like a makeshift blanket. You want to hide, you want to be incognito, you can wear a scarf and a pair of shades. And it's important that you guys feel that way too, that you feel safe and protected. And all the stories that you've heard from time well spent is wrapping around you and keeping you safe. You're being reminded constantly to take care of yourselves, to take time, to honor your pace, to let your garden grow however long that may take, because one day it will flourish. One day you will wake up the world. So that is it for my Growing My Garden scarf. I hope that I was able to give you a bit of insight into my creative process and how much work I put in to be able to share my world with you, especially in this time of the pandemic where we can't see each other in gigs, where I can't hug you and I can't talk to you. I want to connect with you in the most authentic way possible, and sharing myself and being vulnerable with myself gives you the permission or makes you realize that you too can do that to me and other people. I hope that you enjoyed my deep dive into my merchandise. I hope to do more of this and take you behind all the other things that I've worked on, that we have worked on as a team. There's so much more to come. This is only the start, and I hope that you're streaming my second album. It's called Time Well Spent. If you're posting anything on social media, use the hashtag Reese Second Album. Let me know your favorite detail about this scarf in the comments down down below. Thank you guys for joining me today. I love you. You guys are loved. Take care of yourselves. Be safe, be well, be healthy. Grow your garden well. I'll see you next time.
I can't hear the wounds, but I can cry.